Hey everybody, welcome to Jacob's Quest, and today I just finished watching episode 6 of The Bad Batch. Obviously full spoilers in this video, so if you haven't watched it yet, then go ahead and watch the show. Why would you watch this beforehand? Anyways, so, wow, episode 6. I really liked this one. This one had a couple of surprises, some pretty great surprises. And I'll say this right now, so far the show, I have not been disappointed with any of the episodes. Like, I know that this is another one where the main plots of, like, hey, Crosshair and the Empire and all that doesn't get too much attention, really. But they still, it feels like they give you enough, it's like, okay, this might just be like another job on another planet that they have to go do, but it feels like even when they do that, they're doing it the right way, where they're still giving you the little things, the things that you're going to be thinking about afterwards, after the one-off episode adventure is done. There's still a little bit to chew on. And that is something that I think a lot of shows struggle with. Past Star Wars shows have struggled with, where, they'll go on a one-off adventure, but then there's nothing, not even like little things. So this show does a great job with that. And this episode continues that. So basically they have another job from Sid, who, right at the beginning, they're kind of like, hey, we didn't even confirm that we're gonna keep working for you, and she's like, look, you are, because you really don't have a choice. And last episode kind of ended on that somewhat of a threat of like, hey, I know you're worth a lot because a lot of people are looking for you, but I can keep your secret if you keep doing jobs for me. So that's basically the situation that they're in right now, is like they need money, they need resources, basically. And Sid is the only one who seems to be willing to help them because they can do jobs for her. So right now, I'm going to say I don't think that Sid is going to betray them. I think that, maybe the Empire kind of finds out that Sid knows where they're at, and they kind of interrogate her, and then maybe she would give them up. But, like, I don't think she's going to go out of her way to, like, sell them off and be like, go talk to... go talk to the Empire herself and just sell them out for money or whatever. So anyways, they are told that they have to go get a tactical droid because Sid's gonna go then sell it to somebody else. And so they have to go to this factory on Corellia. Now, I believe it's Corellia is where they're at. And I was kind of half expecting to see like a young Han Solo or Kira cameo or something, and I don't think we got anything. Not even maybe something happened in the background and I missed it, but I don't think we got any kind of Han cameo at all, which is fine. They don't have to do that. Just because it's the planet that we know a certain person should be on around this time doesn't mean they have to do it. So maybe it's for the best that they didn't make some kind of like really obvious fan servicey cameo right there. But in any case, they're on this factory and they're looking for the tactical droid, and they run into two other people who are also trying to steal the tactical droid, and it is none other than the Martell sisters, who, look, the Martell sisters, they took up 4 episodes of season 7 of the Clone Wars, and at the time, myself included, I was kind of like, well, first, some people were like angry. They were like really, really angry. Like, why are these 4 episodes taking up the very limited season 7 that we have? And it's just these two sisters who go on a mission with Ahsoka, and then they go their separate ways, and there's like nothing, like there's nothing. They don't seem significant in any way. And I kind of agreed with those feelings. I was like, look, this would have been great in an earlier season of Clone Wars where you have, 22 episodes or whatever, and there's plenty of time for just like a little, just little adventure episodes. But at, in the moment, season 7, when it's like, hey, we only have, what was it? 16 episodes or something, 12 episodes. It seemed like strange that those are the episodes they chose to put in there. But here we are, you know, and this kind of goes to show like I guess the forward thinking nature of some of the people at Lucasfilm. It's kind of funny, we had this whole discussion on Twitter and everywhere on the internet about planning with the sequel trilogy, and J.J. Abrams came out talking about how they didn't have much of a plan for the sequels and how it would have been great to know what the end game was and all this other stuff, right? And everyone was kind of dogpiling on it, and it was this whole thing for like a week. And then we turn around and we have like, okay, well, season 7 of the Clone Wars introduced the Bad Batch because, you know, at Lucasfilm at the time they were probably in, you know, pre-production of the Bad Batch show, and they introduced the Martell sisters because they knew there was going to be an episode with the Martell sisters here. And so like there is definitely a level of planning here. I don't know if it's just Dave who's like planting all these seeds because he knows what he wants to do, you know, a few years later. But in any case, now that I, you know, knowing who they were beforehand definitely helped this episode, I think. And I think I actually liked the Martell sisters a lot better here than I did in those other episodes, and I can't even really explain why. Maybe it's because you know, they had to like interact with Omega and the Bad Batch characters who, just like the Martell sisters, I didn't care a whole lot about the Bad Batch in their season 7 of the Clone Wars episodes, and I like them better. Now I think I like the Martell sisters better than I did. So I don't know if it's just the writing of the show, or if it's just now that I've spent more time and I already knew who they were, and so, you know, I don't know, something about it. This show is getting me to care about characters that, like, literally what, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, whatever, I would have told you I don't care at all about. So here we are, the Martell sisters are here, and I actually kind of like them. And the Bad Batch, obviously I like them a lot better than I did before, and I don't know, I feel like that's just kind of the magic of this show so far, is like, it's making me care about things that I didn't care about before, and that's pretty cool, actually. In any case, so they go on this whole, you know, adventure throughout this factory, trying to get their way out with the tactical droid. And it kind of trades hands throughout the whole thing. You know, the sisters steal it, and then some member or Omega steals it back, and then someone else steals it from them, and yeah, it just kind of goes around the factory, and eventually they manage to escape. Actually, I did miss to talk about one point though before we continue on with this. So earlier in the episode, like first thing in the episode, Omega is practicing with her little laser bow, light bow and arrow, whatever you want to call it. It's a blaster bow. I'm sure there's a name for it. She's practicing with it, and she's made like 3 out of 12 shots on the target. And I guess my only thing is that, like, in the very first episode, when she manages to pick up a blaster and shoot Crosshair's gun when he's trying to sniper at everybody, it seemed like she had really good aim. It seemed like, oh, she's, you know, and that was part of the argument for her possibly being force sensitive. It was like, whoa, she, you know, she said she never picked up a blaster before, and she managed to hit Crosshair's gun. But now, practicing with this weapon, she seems to not have like force sensitive level aim. So I don't know, it's just kind of curious. I don't know if they're like trying to backtrack on, you know, these little clues that she might be force sensitive, because, you know, it's not, I don't know, it's not, we're not at this place where I'm 100% sure she is, but the clues were adding up, and now this seems to almost go in the opposite direction, where it's like, oh, so maybe she doesn't have that great of aim and she just got like a lucky shot on Crosshair or something. I don't know, just kind of a interesting thing to think about. Anyways, so they're all in the factory, and there's this moment where Wrecker has to cross this gap. He swings on one of these giant hooks, and when he lands, he hits his head, again, he hits his head on this pillar, and as soon as this happened, I was like, oh my god, Wrecker, this is like the 4th time that you've hit your head on something. And you know, at first I thought it was gonna be almost played for laughs, because it's almost like a running joke where it's like Wrecker's just gonna keep hitting his head on stuff. Every episode he damages his head, he's gonna end up with a concussion, if not severe brain damage, you know. And man, the thing that we have been fearing and anticipating, it seems like it's finally happening. Wrecker hits his head, he kind of goes down for a second, and he's like in real pain. Like, so this is like worse than all those other times he hit his head. And he says the word "good soldiers," and he repeats that phrase "good soldiers" several times. And then when everyone needs help, he kind of snaps out of it, and then he comes, saves the day, and he takes out a bunch of droids, and it's really cool. So it appears that his chip is starting to activate, but it has not like fully taken him over, because he didn't finish the phrase and he appeared to kind of shake it off a little. But you know, now they're not even just hinting at it, they're just directly telling us like, yeah, his chip is starting to do something. So you know, it is kind of like, that's the other thing, is like every episode that comes out now, you know, it has been this way, but like especially now that he's actually said the first part of the phrase, "good soldiers follow orders," right? Now it's almost like there's this ticking time bomb in the background of every episode, because you don't know what's going on with Wrecker. Like any minute it feels like he could just kind of activate. And my thing about it is that if he does activate and his like Order 66 thing kicks in, something I'm kind of wondering about is like, would he attack the Bad Batch? Like are all the clones under orders to attack the Bad Batch? Or is it just Jedi still, you know, or have like the Bad Batch been kind of added to the list of wanted peoples, you know? So I don't know, that's another interesting thing, is like, if it activates, would the Bad Batch even know immediately? Or would they not know until they come across Ahsoka or something? So I don't know, I mean, obviously we'll find out, but Wrecker, man, it's gonna be really sad too, because like, it feels like they're really doing work to get you to like Wrecker. And again, just like the Martell sisters and just like the group as a whole, season 7 of Clone Wars, Wrecker was my least favorite of the group. In fact, I was like getting annoyed with he was such an archetype of of just like a bumbling, like, oh yeah, explosions, you know, like it was just really annoying to me. But now I kind of like Wrecker, and so it's gonna be extra sad that like, oh man, because you know what might happen. Now here's my thing: do I think that his chip's gonna activate and they're actually gonna like kill Wrecker off or something like that? I mean, they could, obviously. Like, there's room for members of this Bad Batch to go away one by one. You know, I hope not, but it could happen. It would be very tragic. It'd be very Star Wars for that to happen. So I don't know, but we'll see what's happening there. And anyway, so they leave the factory. They did not seem to, the head got destroyed. The tactical droid's head got destroyed. It got shot, and they ended up giving this little data rod that Tech had earlier attached to it. They ended up giving that to the Martell sisters because they said that they're gonna go give this information that the tactical droid had to somebody who's gonna try and fight the Empire. Now, you know, you're kind of thinking that could be Mon Mothma, that could be Bail Organa, that could be Ahsoka, that could be anybody. But they're gonna go give to somebody. I thought for a second maybe it was even gonna be Saw Gerrera. Maybe they were gonna drop his name and then these two sisters end up working with Saw. I thought that was a possibility. But anyways, they end up giving the data core to the sisters, and I guess the Bad Batch is just gonna come back to Sid empty-handed, because I believe the head got destroyed, so they kind of just don't have anything to come back to Sid with. But in any case, they go their separate ways. They, you know, and they definitely kind of leave it as like, oh, we'll see the sisters again, because Omega even kind of like, hey, you guys should visit us, you know, and then they go their separate ways. Now at the last moment here, the two sisters on their ship, they turn around and they're talking to a seemingly hooded mystery figure on the holocom, right? And they're like, oh, hey, we got the data and we ran into these rogue clone troopers, and we know exactly where to find them because Omega had told them what planet they're at. And then the episode ends there. Now, to me, it seems pretty obvious that this is going to turn out to be Ahsoka, because, well, one, the sisters they've met Ahsoka, and we kind of went through this with Rebels, how Ahsoka was like this hooded figure for a while, and then it's like a big reveal, like, oh, it's Ahsoka, you know. And that is, you know, I know that I don't know if she would have started doing that this early. I don't know if she's like full using the Fulcrum disguise, code name, whatever. I know there's a Ahsoka book, I haven't read it, but in any case, she's definitely at the very least working with the sisters to get this intel, and she's gonna be giving this information to somebody. I don't know if she and Bail Organa have already like tried to start a rebellion type deal, but it seems obvious to me that it's Ahsoka. That's my thing. I can't really imagine who else it would be that makes a whole lot of sense for them to like try and do this whole mystery thing. And it's kind of just Ahsoka's thing at this point, I think, just to be like, oh, who are these rebellious people talking to on this hooded figure? Oh, it's Ahsoka. She's kind of like the reverse Palpatine, because all the bad guys always talk to their evil hooded figure. Ahsoka's like the good hooded figure. In any case, yeah, so that's the episode, and there are definitely little things to chew on here. So we're probably seeing Ahsoka and Rex soon. I imagine we'll see Rex before we see Ahsoka. He'll probably be like, oh yeah, I know where she's at, and then, you know, they'll spend like 2 or 3 episodes with him, and then he'll lead them to Ahsoka. Wrecker is definitely, you know, that's right now, that's where a lot of the tension is in the show, is what's gonna happen with Wrecker and when it's gonna happen, because you know it's happening now, especially. So yeah, that's and my other thing is, you know, the bigger mysteries still, like, is Omega Force sensitive, stuff like that. We haven't met up with Crosshair in the Empire for a couple episodes now, and I kind of hope that we come back to that soon. I mean, that was definitely, it felt like they were building like him leading this team of future stormtroopers, or maybe even death troopers. And it kind of felt like that was going to be like our B plot, and we haven't come back to that for a little while. So I'm hoping that we do that soon, because that was really, really interesting stuff. But yeah, this was another fun episode. Another, you know, like I said at the beginning, it was just a one-off adventure episode, and not anything like major plot-wise happened. But yeah, I had fun. And we got like little tiny confirmations of like, yeah, Wrecker, something's happening there. Ahsoka's probably coming back. And overall, I enjoyed the Martell sisters, which was surprising, because they were just kind of just okay, you know, like they were not anything like significant to me. They were like, okay, fine, okay, you know, they went on an adventure with Ahsoka, whatever. Anyways, let me know what you guys think about this episode. Let me know what you think is happening with Wrecker and this hooded figure. Is it probably Ahsoka? What is Sid gonna say when they come back empty-handed, I guess, because the head got destroyed, so there's nothing there. And yeah, let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.